right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A rapid rescue at the push of a button.
You just slide the preset up and turn it on.
The new tech giving firefighters a better fighting chance.
Definitely cool this weekend. Keep the rain gear handy. I'm timing out showers and possible rumbles of thunder.
Tonight, a teen is dead after a string of car break-ins ends in a shooting.
It's sad. It's just sad.
A community reacts as police search for the other suspects involved. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson. Police say the young suspects broke into multiple cars overnight in Carondelet. They say when gunfire rang out, one of them accidentally shot and killed their 16-year-old accomplice. New tonight, 5 on your side's Robert Townsend picks up the story with reaction from concerned neighbors.
St. Louis police say in the thick of the night early Friday, several teenagers pulled up near Vermont and Holly Hills Avenues in Carondelet in South City. The males then hopped out of a dark colored car and randomly broke into at least 6 cars.
It's happened on several occasions in the last 8 months or so.
This neighborhood is very safe. Generally, when we have these kinds of interactions, we know that it's coming from someone that doesn't live in this neighborhood.
Neighbors' Ring doorbell cameras caught the crimes on video.
They were going from car to car. One person would stand at the car trying to break in, and the other one would be pointing a gun at the house, just in case anybody came out.
A neighbor tells 5 on your side he fired 2 gunshots at the ground in his backyard, hoping to scare the young criminals off.
Like it sounded like boom, boom, boom.
And the group of car break-in suspects fired multiple shots at an individual.
One of those shots hit one of the teens. Police tell us the other suspects brought the wounded teenager here to Barnes Jewish Hospital. That teen suffered a gunshot wound to his head and later died here.
We believe the vehicle was involved in other car break-ins earlier this morning outside of the city of St. Louis.
The brazen car break-ins and tragic loss of a teen have rattled this neighborhood.
Someone loved him. Multiple people probably.
And he gets shot because they get confused. Yeah, it's sad.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Police have not released the name of the teenager who died. They say it is the first homicide in the Carondelet neighborhood this year. Hours ago, St. Louis City Police announced they arrested a suspect in connection with the murder of a pregnant woman. Police say Vanier Jones shot 2 women in a home on Farland Avenue last week. One woman was found dead in the home while the other was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Jones is charged with multiple crimes, including first-degree murder. Now to our weather impact forecast, and it's looking like part of the weekend will be wet. Meteorologist Jim Castillo is here with what is coming our way, Jim.
Yes, you know, we have this energy, this low pressure area, one that is pushing onto our south and east, but an upper level low is going to hang around the area as we head throughout the weekend. And this is lightning, by the way, in western Missouri. So occasionally you'll get this cluster of thunderstorms. Again, nothing severe, but most of the rain that we've been seeing tonight has been light. Here's a few showers right there. Grafton, Illinois, northward into even Greene County and back towards Troy. But watch the futurecast. A couple showers possible in the morning, but I think most of the morning is dry. You get into late morning and into the afternoon, you see that spiraling area of low pressure. It sticks around us, doesn't really move much at all. Showers, rumbles of thunder in here all the way into late Saturday night and part of Sunday. I think Sunday's the pick day of the weekend, but still a lot of clouds. I'll have much more in that forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, Jim. Here is a live look at the Enterprise Center where the Blues' latest playoff matchup just wrapped up. It was a must-win game for St. Louis, and win it they did. 5 on your side's Annie Crawls in studio with a look at some of the best moments from tonight, Annie.
That's right, Kelly. This playoff game was a nail-biter heading into tonight, but by the end of it, the Blues were basically putting their feet up. Blues win Game 6 against Winnipeg 5-2. It was an outrageous second period that ended with 4 St. Louis goals alone. Like many people in St. Louis, we were all locked in for days on how tonight would shake out at Enterprise. Philip Broberg gets the Blues on the board first. Within the first 7 minutes of the game, Connor Hellebuck gets bamboozled behind Buchnevich. Then it was a goal frenzy. Our favorite defenseman, Cam Fowler, one of the best trades of the season, finds the back of the net. That makes it 4-1. This was the final nail in the coffin. Toropchenko open across the ice. The Blues keep their Stanley Cup's hopes alive, 5-2. And our sports director, Frank Cusimano, has been at Enterprise all day. He'll take us into the locker room for how players are feeling only moments after the final buzzer a little bit later on in the show.
And the Blues took a moment of the game to honor a St. Louis police officer who was injured in the line of duty. Officer Nathan Spees got a standing ovation from fans and players on the ice before the game. Spees lost part of his leg after he was hit on I-70 while trying to make an arrest. Earlier today, the department said this moment would be a huge boost for his healing journey.
I can only imagine the chills that he will have when he sees thousands and thousands of people supporting him. That's what he needs right now. He needs the community to support. He needs people to know that they are backing him on his road to recovery, because it's a long road.
Police say Spees hopes to rejoin the police force after his recovery. A new report shows last year was the deadliest year on record for pedestrians in St. Louis City and County. TrailNet says 36 people were killed in the county last year trying to cross the street. Another 23 were killed in the city. And for the city, that's a 187% increase from 2023. Officials with TrailNet say they're working with county and city officials to create new traffic calming solutions.
As soon as the infrastructure went in 2021, there's a 79% decrease in injuries and fatalities, just immediately. And that's pretty much been sustained. And so we know that when you put in that infrastructure, it works. It slows people down. It improves the visibility of pedestrians.
TrailNet's also partnering with the Missouri State Highway Patrol for new safety measures. There was a new push tonight from St. Louis city leaders to fight off an impending state takeover of the St. Louis Police Department. Board of Aldermen President Megan Green filed a new lawsuit against the new measure. Governor Mike Kehoe signed the bill into law in March. The lawsuit claims the law violates the First Amendment and the state constitution. A federal judge dismissed Green's first attempt at a lawsuit, which had former Mayor Tessara Jones's support behind it. And this new move now comes without support from current Mayor Kara Spencer. In a statement, Mayor Spencer says, quote, "While I continue to believe local voters should have control over local police departments, we have seen what rushing into lawsuits results in. It would be better for the city to present a united front and give the city councilor's office adequate time to fully develop the city's case rather than taking another premature stab at it." And Governor Kehoe has yet to name a transition director for the takeover. Tonight, more than a dozen dogs have been euthanized due to a parvo outbreak at the St. Louis County Animal Shelter. 19 dogs tested positive for the disease and were euthanized today. Right now, vets are monitoring 8 other cases. Healthy animals were moved to foster care. The shelter first reported 5 cases on Wednesday and shut down operations. It will remain closed until at least Sunday. A tow lot owned by the city is facing a federal investigation. The St. Louis Comptroller's Office held an audit of the North Riverfront site and found multiple cars worth close to $5 million were missing. The audit also found more than $80,000 in cash has been missing since 2023. Comptroller Donna Berenger handed the investigation over to federal investigators today for further criminal investigation. Tonight, another tool to help first responders keep you safe. We've reported how fire departments nationwide are battling shortages. Now, a former Pattonville firefighter's creation is helping those departments fight back. Brent Solomon explains how the new technology is coming to the rescue.
Hey there, Kelly. While working as a firefighter, the man you're about to meet noticed some of the challenges of the job, and he took action. On his days off, he got to work on a concept that's helping more than 100 fire departments all over the country when seconds matter most.
When the call comes, there's no time to wait. To keep you safe, firefighters risk their own safety.
Almost 20% of the injuries at structure fires are related to charged hose lines.
A result of what firefighters call hot hydrants. Water pressure well beyond the maximum PSI level to safely battle the elements. On the low end, the pressure could be a 20 psi. On the high end, 100.
When you have hydrants down here running 140, 150, 160, you basically have to be in the fire getting beat up with that high pressure and then get on the radio and ask them to turn it down. It's an extremely manual process.
That's where Jason Serrano's creation saves the day. It's called SAM, Simple Apparatus Management.
Pump engaged. SAM ready.
The automated pressure control manages that in under a second.
Instantly delivering the appropriate water pressure to the hydrant.
It costs time in a fire, waiting for pressure to get right sometimes.
That's not all.
Yeah, let's just hook 100 to this and put a nozzle on it.
SAM places a water flow control panel on both sides of a fire truck. Traditionally, most trucks just have it on the driver's side, and in most cases, a firefighter has to manually control it, while the rest of the crew attacks the flames.
If you can imagine yourself standing in the street on one side of the fire truck, but the fire's over in the yard on the curbside, you can't see anything, so you're isolated from your crew.
SAM automates the entire process, allowing more hands on deck.
So no matter how the scene's set up, I don't have to keep circling the truck or being isolated.
So it gives us another set of hands when hands are limited at the time while other trucks are still responding.
It's why Pattonville Fire Chief Jim Ursery is glad his department uses it. St. Louis Fire was the first to roll it out nationwide. In an industry struggling to recruit,
a lot of people are seeing staffing shortages in regards to even the application pool. We don't have enough qualified applicants.
This chief appreciates new tools to help his crew save lives.
Really, my job is to remove roadblocks where they can do amazing things in the street.
Serrano is pleased his invention is making a difference in the profession he dedicated 2 decades of service to.
You see people out in rural areas who don't have help, and when the automation is giving them help on the fire ground and you can hear the relief in their voice, like that hits home.
I've learned Fenton, Maryland Heights, Mascoutah, and Cahokia are just a few of the many local fire departments taking advantage of this homegrown technology. The Pattonville chief says it's a game changer as the industry embraces new tools to get the job done.
Back in session as the old courthouse prepares to reopen, one local artist is reviving a piece of history.
And wanting to give them new life.
How he's taking visitors on a journey of justice.
We are not forecasting severe weather, but I am timing out weekend rain and possible rumbles of thunder.
Tomorrow, the historic old courthouse in downtown St. Louis officially opens to the public. For several years, the building was closed for extensive renovations. The grand reopening will also feature artwork from an artist with ties to St. Louis. 5 News 5's Justina Coronel spoke to him about the message he hopes his work sends to visitors.
Outside of the old courthouse, there's a statue of Dred and Harriet Scott. Their heads held high, eyes looking ahead to freedom.
Bring new eyes inside, and give these characters life in a new way.
St. Louis artist Kababi Bayak looks forward too. His illustrations are a nod to the past.
So that's a second version of her.
His work highlighted in this historic new home, the reopening of the old courthouse, merging the old with the new.
It's almost like they're all being reintroduced to public.
Bayak was tapped to create this permanent animation video inside.
One to give texture to their hair.
And the branding for their festival, The Journey to Justice.
They love the way I use color, the way I do my portraiture.
Tell us about that. Tell us about what makes your art unique in the sense of the colors, but also the portrait work that you do.
My color is very bold, but again, St. Louis ties. Like when I was a caricature artist at Six Flags. Like those, literally almost 30 years ago, and that allowed me to see people differently. That added humor, emotion, and all that to my work, working on children's books, and so I think that's what people connect with, and so they asked me to bring that.
His work aims to celebrate.
Black artists for a long time couldn't do work that represented themselves, and so staying in that lane has been very important because I want folks to come into institutions like this and feel like they can see themselves or relate to something. So that's been a motivator for a big part of my work.
In this new chapter for the courthouse, there's so much to look forward to.
Such a historical space that so many defendants and lawyers and whatever stories that are so monumental to this country and justice to be asked to be a part of the reopening of such an institution, it's priceless.
And you can see that work tomorrow morning at 10 when the ceremony begins, and at 10:30 those doors officially open. The Journey to Justice Festival starts at 11. Meteorologist Jim Castillo here with the weather impact forecast as I change your name.
Yeah, it's late, late on Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. If we were hoping for a nice sunny weekend, this weekend's not the one.
No, it sure isn't. This upper level low is going to park itself and make us really rainy tomorrow. Probably 50s for highs is what we're talking about now. So look at Lambert. We have a little bit of rain right there. Nothing too terribly heavy at all, but I do want to point out a couple of spots. Severe weather stayed to our south and east today out ahead of that low in front. But there's some lightning back here around Bolivar, Missouri. And so just watching a few showers around us, but we can't rule out some lightning and thunder over the next couple of days, especially tomorrow afternoon. We'll zoom in a little bit to Bolivar in a second here, but Jerseyville to Carrollton up in Greene County, Whitehall getting some light showers right now, all the way down to Grafton and more near Ellsbury here in Lincoln County, Missouri. And then there it is. Wow, this cluster of storms that popped up again around Bolivar, just to the north of Bolivar, Missouri. So what we're looking at in the future cast, a couple of showers in here overnight into tomorrow morning, but a lot of dry time, it looks like, early tomorrow morning, and then watch late morning into the afternoon. Here's noon, showers redevelop, and you see a little bit of a spiral going on. That's that low that's right over us. Chance of some of these having some downpours, and again, lightning, thunder can't be ruled out, but it's mainly light rain in here, but it could be a good steady rain too. Here's 10:45 p.m. Look at all this moisture swinging back into the area here. 3:15 a.m. on Sunday, and Sunday looks like a drier day, but still a chance of rain in the forecast on Sunday as that low tries to move to the east of us. So tomorrow, a northwest wind at 10 to 15 miles an hour. And notice the 20% chance of rain 11 a.m., 20% chance at 1 p.m. And you get towards 5 o'clock, a little bit more likelihood of seeing some rain in here and temperatures in the 50s. And here's that upper level energy. Want to point that out. We'll get to the 7-day forecast. That low kind of cut off from the main flow of the jet stream, so it doesn't move much at all. And it parks itself over Indiana and Ohio, and that just gives us, swings back moisture into the area. Chance of rain in here, maybe some rumbles of thunder. 59 tomorrow, 62 on Sunday. Probably spottier rain chances in here, but still rain chances. 62, 64 Monday, 75 Tuesday. Looks like a couple of dry days to begin the week.
Look at those numbers this weekend. 59 tomorrow.
Chilly, yeah.
All right,
Jacket
thanks,
weather.
Jim. Here's Annie with sports.
And it's all over. The Blues Game 6 fate has been decided. Who made it happen? And what can we expect for the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs? Coming up next in sports. And the Blues have made St. Louis feel like the mecca of hockey the last few weeks. Since February, saying the Blues can't lose at home seems like a statement of fact rather than a turn of phrase. We'll have a Game 7 after the Blues win tonight 5-2. Here's how they did it. First off, of course, we have to talk about the Blues fans feeling pretty darn good tonight. Jim Montgomery and his team had a little bit of magic left in their sticks. Philip Broberg would strike first as Connor Hellebuck again felt the cold sting of a Blues offense on the hunt. Nathan Walker would get on the action, starting a second period for the Ages 2-1 Blues. Then a long shot down the ice finds none other than Braden Shen. Keep them coming, 3-1 Blues. One more insult to injury in the second period, though. This officially made it 5-1 Blues. The Jets tack on one more goal at the end of the game, but it wasn't enough. The night ends 5-2. And from puck drop to the final goal horn, our Frank Cusimano has been at Enterprise Center. Frank, how is that former 14-game win streak feeling right now?
Unbelievable. Now it's up to 15. You know, Annie, there's a really cool place in Kirkwood called the Magic House. Well, Enterprise is magical for the St. Louis Blues. Think about it. In their 3 wins in this series, they've outscored the Jets 17-5. After the game, I asked the captain, Braden Shen, what went right tonight.
Goaltending was good. I didn't know why we didn't start the first 6 or 7 minutes like the way we wanted, and I felt we got our legs underneath us, kept on pushing. I just, kind of playing the right way with the right habits, and obviously a big goal by Walks to kind of get the engine running there in the second period.
Game 7s are often about the goaltender. Winnipeg has Connor Hellebuck, who for the third consecutive game here did not finish the game. The Blues have Jordan Binnington, who knows how to win a Game 7. With photographer Jimmy Kruko, I'm Frank Cusimano. Annie, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Cusimano. Within the last few hours, the Cardinals have announced their 2025 Hall of Fame class. Big congrats to the Silver Slugger and Gold Glove shortstop Edgar Renteria, the recently passed general manager Walt Giacchetti, and Fireball former pitcher / broadcaster Al Rabaski. Now, isn't that a stacked group? Quite the legacy to carry on for the Redbirds as they took on the Mets tonight. Unfortunately, it didn't go super well considering Sonny Gray had his work cut out for him at Busch against New York. They're at the top of the East Division. A base hit by the Mets would load the bases up off of Gray in the second and eventually score a run, then another in the inning. But the Redbirds would respond in the third. Victor Scott, second, gets a base hit. He turned it all the way into a run, though, off of a stolen base and a Mets throwing error, no less, by catcher Francisco Alvarez. Cardinals score again in the third, courtesy of runners on the corners and a Wilson Contreras single. But St. Louis couldn't hang on to the lead for long as the Mets run away tonight 9-3. And in case that wasn't enough, the Battlehawks round out tonight's trifecta in St. Louis as they hosted not other than the Arlington Renegades. And the Battlehawks' new starting quarterback, Max Duggan, was ready to run, jump, heck, he even danced to do whatever was needed to get the W at the Dome. It was a quiet first quarter for the TCU grad, but then he's explosive on this 30-yard pass down the right side to, well, yeah, you guessed it, Hakeem Butler. An Arlington penalty offside makes no difference. Battlehawks get the first touchdown of the night. Then on the other side of the ball, it's a big stop by St. Louis's big man, Isaiah Mack. No conversion for Arlington on 3rd and 8. And then it would set the Battlehawks up for a late field goal before halftime. Battlehawks would add to the hype tonight at 12-6. That's a fun one to watch.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
And City SC is playing tomorrow night in Seattle. It's their last regular season game before the U.S. Open Cup matchup at Energizer Park on Wednesday. They've tied 40% of their games so far this season, and Captain Roman Berkey is still out with a hand fracture, though he's been training with a ball during handling drills this week. Backup keeper Ben Lunt will likely be stepping up again to stop the Sounders. Oh yes, it is that time of year again. The fastest 2 minutes in sports will be here tomorrow. The 151st Kentucky Derby takes off at Churchill's Downs with post time just before 7 p.m. Top pony prospects include frontrunners Journalism, Burnham Square, and Wood Memorial. You can watch the Derby right here on 5 on Your Side with coverage starting at 1:30 Saturday afternoon. I do have to admit, I have run on Churchill Downs. There was a little bit of a moment where I might have gone around a gate and then I run. But I don't think I'm going to get the rose garland. I'm going to be honest, Kelly.
Boy, what a night in sports.
It really was.
For St. Louis.
It was a blessing to be here.
Oh, great. Well, thank you, Annie. A floral fiesta, a Florissant tradition, kicks off today. See the budding celebration in North County. A big celebration is in full bloom in Florissant. The Valley of Flowers Festival started today at the Duchesne grounds. Visitors can enjoy live music, petting zoos, magic shows, and the festival's iconic parade and car show. The festival runs all weekend long. Hey, it's strawberry season. Starting today, you can head out to Belleville to handpick some of these sweet treats yourself. This year, the farm is making it even sweeter for visitors. Eckert's is offering strawberries at close to $4 a pound. Strawberry picking is open Tuesday through Sunday from 9 to 5. I don't know about picking strawberries tomorrow. They may be a little mushy with the rain.
Yeah, a better day to pick strawberries is Monday or Tuesday.
Good to know, Jim.
Right, but a chance of rain. In fact, it's likely definitely as we get into the afternoon tomorrow and the nighttime hours. So the evening's kind of wet too. 59 Sunday, scattered to spotty rain, and then it's drier Monday, Tuesday.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us at 10. You can always watch us on 5+, the free app. Be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis at 6 a.m.